The tomatoes when they are at its best, when they were really ripe and
really ripe
intense.
tomatoes. So this is going to turn a nice, rich brown color. You could almost eat it as a jam or a paste on a piece of bread.
So, how long do you reckon that would take?
This is going to take about 5 or 6 minutes. It's not something you want to rush because all the flavors in here. You have a few more ingredients to go, but that's the base of the flavor for the whole dish.
And for the sauce.
And for the sauce. Potatoes and the carrots and the turnips are going nicely. The last thing you want to do now is red wine. We picked this earlier from the wine department, and this has a lot of flavor. Blackberry and cassis, and this is also going to be a big part of your sauce. I like to cook this down. Then I have a little bit of beef stock. What you don't want to use is lamb stock. It's too strong. Beef stock is fine.
Get all these lovely juices inside.
A few bay leaves. And if you don't have fresh rosemary, dried is fine. For 2 lamb shanks, about a little over a tablespoon will do it.
And you can always have that in your kitchen. I mean, dried rosemary, right off. You can use it for so many dishes.
The fresh is much stronger, use less. So just give this a stir.
That looks quite good. Especially when it's nice and cooked through.
And now we're going to add the lamb shanks back in on this side, so they're most of the way covered. Just a little bit sticking out. Basically, now that we've got the lamb shanks, we're going to bring this up to the boil.
Problem with the technique again.
It's going to bring it up to the boil.
Exactly. I'm good for putting things up. You want a lid.
And then basically what you're going to do is after this comes to the boil, you're going to turn down the heat quite low. You don't want it to boil. You're not trying to boil the meat. You're trying to simmer it. Just a few bubbles at a time. Going to cover it. Occasionally flip them over. Make sure all the sides are wet. And you're going to let that cook for about 2.5 hours. What you'll see at that point is that the meat will be falling off the bone, very tender. Let it cool. Once it's cool, you can put it in the refrigerator and then warm it up the next day. Or if you're ready to go, you're ready to go. The sauce will make itself.
How is it with the alcohol? Is the alcohol...
The alcohol will be gone. So if you have an allergy to alcohol or you don't want to drink, it's not a problem because the heat is going to take care of all the alcohol in the wine. All you're going to be left with is the flavor. And so this is a very flavorful, intense dish where the meat will just fall off the bone, and you have that rich red wine and beef stock and the rosemary and all those sweet onions and tomato. The flavors are unbelievable. We're almost done with our mashed potatoes, turnips, and parsnips and carrots. And now would be a good time to take a break, and we will be right back. Okay, we're back, and the lamb shanks have been cooking for a few hours now. Mashed potatoes are done, and then what I'm going to do is strain these off.
And you want me to do anything?
Yeah, I'll let you mash them. We don't want anything too rich. You just want nice cream. You don't want any cream or butter.
So
and the extra virgin olive oil.
Okay, so basically what we do is we make sure that we don't burn our fingers.
Right.
Because these are great for doing that. No, it's okay. And then we actually mash the potatoes, the carrots, and the parsnips, and really make it a nice pulp. And you add salt and pepper for your liking, and you add some olive oil. Oh, it's coming slowly, but it's coming.
Give me a hand with the salt.
The good thing here is with the carrots,
Nice bit of color. Did you try them?
No, but I should actually. What do you think about it?
I think
After
give it a
I
shot,
did all
yeah.
the work?
You did all that work, yeah.
Actually very good. The carrots have a nice sweetness. For me, I would normally add, I like pepper, I would add a little bit more pepper, but actually I would do it afterwards.
So we're just going to put this as a base to hold our lamb shank down. Quite a bit of it, in case you're hungry.
That's portions for people like us. You could feed more 2 or 3 people with that.
We're going to take our lamb shank, which is
I would
completely
say
different than what it was before. And you're going to see now it's very tender. It's pulled away from the bone.
And I think
so
you need
moist and so tender. Now the sauce with all your onions, the rosemary, makes its own perfect gravy. That's pretty much it. The braised lamb shank with the roasted root, the mashed root vegetables and potatoes, and the sauce is already pre-made. It comes with the shank. So here's the salmon we bought earlier, and our Riesling. This is our dry Riesling from Australia. What you need to do is find a wine that doesn't have any oak. You don't want that vanilla flavor. You don't want those heavy flavors. You want fresh fruit. You don't want a sweet wine, so German Riesling's not going to work here. You want a wine that's like an unoaked Chardonnay, a Sancerre, Chablis, something that's fresh, clean. I love this unoaked, this Riesling from Australia. There's so much fruit. And it's perfect for the salmon.
But you don't want to put any olive oil or any butter inside?
We're poaching this. I'm not going to say it's a no-fat dish because we're going to add some cream later, but this dish is quite simple. You're poaching it in white wine. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. You have to.
It's white wine. And what I've done is I've cut the green or the white off the onion. So this is just green onion, but just the white part. And this is just for a little flavor.
You want to take it off the heat now?
Nope, I want to get it hot. Not boiling, but hot. So, a little bit of salt, not too much. This dish has mustard in it, and mustard's quite salty.
May I?
Please.
So, you want to tell me when to stop?
Stop. So basically, we're going to bring this up. Get rid of the alcohol first. Before we put the salmon in, the alcohol has to go away. The alcohol will go away at about 70 degrees, 73 degrees before it boils. So about now the alcohol is just about coming out. You see the vapor there.
So what you're telling me, the winemaker spends all that time to get it in, and you're
we're
taking it out?
In 5 minutes. But if you stand over the pot when the alcohol comes up, you can get a really nice...
Yoo-hoo.
Yes. So here are our fillets of salmon. What I didn't do was take the skin off. Now when you're poaching, the salmon can get quite delicate. So I like to leave the skin on, even though if you're going to eat the skin, which I do, usually you make it crispy style. With the poaching, I think at home, a lot of people struggle with fish to make it look good when it's done. So I'm going to leave the skin on to help you hold it together. For me, I wouldn't, but you can do this to help it stay like this. So just lay the fish skin side down, but let's not boil it.
So that's what it's doing.
And let that cook covered.
So would you do rice with it, or would you have...
You don't need anything. This would be a nice dish by itself. I think I would serve this as an appetizer. It makes a nice main course. But if you just thinned out the portion a bit, you could do it as a hot appetizer to start.
Would you have any kind of salad or any greens with it?
No, because it's hot. So you really don't want to do a hot salmon with cold greens. It's kind of a funny dish.
Yeah, but if it's a main course, You have fish, what is of course very
Sure.
healthy.
Sure.
Very, very.
You could do this with couscous.